Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, we will learn about email address policies. Let's go to our Exchange server and go to Start, open Administrative Center. As you can see in the mailboxes section, the email addresses are derived as first name dot last name at the domain dot local. This is being set by Exchange automatically using the default email address policy. Basically, email address policies are designed to assign an email address for all the recipients. By default, the default address policy is using the alias of the user or the recipient, and after that, it will be adding the domain name, which is at ps.local in our case. So let's go to mail flow and go to email address policies. Here you can see the default email address policy with the priority lowest, and this is being applied to all the recipients as of now. So if we go to edit and go to email address format and edit this, you can see this. It is using the alias at the domain.com format, and it is only applying SMTP type of email address, and it is being applied to all the recipient types. So let's cancel this and create our own email address policy. Let's call this as email address policy to all, and click on plus to add the address format. I want to use this format, which is the first letter of the first name and second name at domain.com. Let's save. On the recipient, I will keep it to all the recipients. Click on save. This warning is telling us that the policy isn't active yet, and you need to click apply in the details pane after the email address policy is created. So let's click OK. As you can see here, this is unapplied. So let's select this policy. In the details pane here, click on apply. So this is warning us if the email address policies are applying to more than 3000 plus recipients, you may need to use the Exchange management shell or the PowerShell to update this. So let's ignore this for now and click yes. So this is applied to all the recipients. Let's verify it by going to recipients and refresh it. As you can see, the email addresses are changed now to first letter of first name and second name at domain.com or domain.local. Let's go back to mail flow and email address policy. Let's learn how to create email address policy using the PowerShell. So let's go to PowerShell. Clear the screen. Let's delete this email address policy which we created now. Before that, let's copy the name and delete using this icon and click on yes. Click on close. Let's go back to PowerShell and create the new email address policy. We have a commandlet called new email address policy in the PowerShell, and we can also provide the name, which is just to be copied, and we can add PowerShell at the end of the name just to identify uniquely, and we can provide included recipients as a filter, which which will be mailbox users. In our case, can use enabled email address template to add the template. Let's use this template and hit enter. As you see, this has created the email address policy. Let's do get email address policy and provide identity, which is this in the double quotes, and pipe it through FL to see all the details. As you can see, the recipients equals to all the user mailboxes, and this is the format it is being used. So let's go back to ECP and refresh the page. As you see, we have the new email address policy created, and if we go to edit and email address format, you can see this is using this format, which is two letters of the first name and then the last name. So let's use update email address policy with the name or the identity, just this, and hit enter to update the email address for all the recipients. Once it is done, let's go back to ECP and go to recipients and refresh the page. As you can see, it is using the last name and the first two letters of the first name at the end. So this is how you can create email address policies using the Exchange PowerShell. You can also create email address policy template using this table. So I have created a template which is percentage, that means the surname and then two letters of the given name at the rate ps.local. Let's create a template with first name, which is percent %g, and then dot percent %s or the surname at ps dot local. So this should create email addresses with the format first name dot last name at domain dot local. So let's use this and use the same previous command in the PowerShell to create the new address policy. And let's rename this. As you can see, this policy has been created now. Let's go back and refresh. So let's go to edit and go to format. As you can see, this is creating first name dot last name at domain.com format. So let's apply this policy to all the recipients and see how it looks. Let's go back to recipients and refresh. As you can see, on the SMTP, which is the secondary SMTP address, it is creating first name dot last name at ps.local. This is because in the email address policy, this policy is having the priority 2. So this is creating a secondary email address instead of creating primary SMTP address. Primary SMTP address is being created by this. If this is failed, this will be adding the primary SMTP address. So to change this behavior, so let's delete this policy. So with the priority 1, we should now have the email addresses with first name dot last name for all the users. As you can see here, if I go to edit and email addresses, you can see the primary SMTP address is first name dot last name. So this is how you can work with email address policies. As a note, you cannot delete the default email address policy, and this is by design. However, you can create the custom policies based on your requirement using the template which I showed on this Word document. I will also post this on my website, and I will also share the commands which I used on the description of this video. So that's it for this video. I hope this was informative and see you on the next video.